Assalamualaikum students, this is week 10 lesson number 1. Today we will start unit 5, decimal fractions and percentages. So let's start first with the fractions. You already know about the fractions, what are the fractions and how you write it. Fraction means this kind of thing which looks like this, 4 by 5. This is numerator, fraction line you call it, and then denominator. This each fraction has the 3 parts, the numerator, fraction line and denominator. You must have done this thing in the grade 4. Next is decimal fraction. The numbers written with the decimal point, for example 2.55 or 3.19, these kind of representation of the number is called decimal fraction. We can change the fraction into decimal or decimal into simple fraction. For example, if I say 1 by 2, this is the fraction, and I can change it into decimal fraction by making hut and dividing it. 2 will be the divisor, 1 will be the dividend. 2 and 1 is not divisible, so what you will do, you will put the point here which you call decimal point, and then you will get an extra 0 for decimal point. Now the 10 is divisible by 2, so 2 5s are 10. So see, that's how you will change a fraction into decimal fraction. That is called the decimal fraction. And each decimal fraction has 2 parts. Before decimal point, this part is called whole part. And after decimal point, 5 and 5, this is called decimal part. Each decimal fraction has 2 parts. Before point, the digits are called whole part of the decimal fraction, and after point, the digits are called decimal part of that decimal fraction. Next we have the place value chart for decimal fractions. As you already know about the place value charts, but for the decimal fraction it is kind of changed, because we have here the decimal point. So with the decimal point on the whole part, you will have the units, tens, hundreds, thousands, and then 10,000 and so on. And after decimal point, this is the place value chart for whole part. Decimal part has place values tens, hundreds and thousand, so on. If I want to write the 234.51, so that's how I will write it. 234 point, decimal point, and then for the decimal part 5 tens and 1 hundreds, 5 1, and you will read the whole decimal fraction as 234.51. You will not say 51, this decimal part. In the decimal part, you separately read the each digit. There are 2 types of decimal fractions, like and unlike. The groups of decimal fractions that have the same number of decimal places. For example, 2.5, 1.3, these both numbers have same number of decimal places, so they will be like fractions. For example, if I write 6.777 and then 9.333, these both decimal fractions have the same number of decimal places, 1 2 3 1 2 3. Decimal places means the digits in the decimal part. Both decimal fractions have the same number of decimal places, so they will be called like fractions. And for unlike, if the decimal fractions does not have same number of decimal places, then they will be called unlike fractions. For example, 1.56 and 7.5. In 1.56 we have 2 decimal places, and in 7.5 we have 1 decimal. So these both are unlike decimal fractions. Next topic is addition of decimal fractions. Let's start exercise 7, question number 1. In question number 1, 2 unlike decimal fractions are given. 1.644, you will not read it as 644. No, that is wrong. You will say 1.644 plus 7.21. So you know that when you have to add, you write the vertical columns. So first term is 1.64 and 4. Now the second one is 7.21. It has 2 decimal places and 1 digit in the whole part. Now what you have to do, you have to keep the decimal point aligned. 7 and point, the second term point should be under the first point. 2, 1. This place will be remain empty because we do not have third decimal digit here in the second term. And now you will add with your conventional method, or you can put here the 0 if you have any confusion. So 4 plus 0 will be 4, 4 plus 1 will be 5, 6 plus 2, 8, point as it is, 7 plus 1, 8. So you will get the answer 8.854. Some students will write this arrangement. They can make it like this: 1.644 and then 7.21, right? No, this is wrong. Why? Because you have to match the decimal point should be in one column, in one line. They should be aligned. So this kind of arrangement is wrong. What you have to do, always keep the points aligned and then write your decimal part and the whole part. That's how you will get the right arrangement for addition, and the same thing will go for the subtraction.